Alright everyone, welcome back to Saturday with SWAGASSI, and if you're noticing, I have a special guest here with me. This is Peter Smith. I call him Potting Pete. He is my right-hand man when I go into the office and I go into work. The conversations behind a lot of the videos that you see are motivated and inspired and thought out with this man. This is a really, really good man here, and we're going to get into that, into who Potting Pete is. But the reason why I brought him, if you guys noticed, last time I said I was going to have a special guest. The reason why is because I want to share the idea that anybody who has a passion can communicate and share that with the world. Secondly, I want to be a man of my word and practice what I preach in terms of putting other people's dreams on the map. And so that's why I brought him here. And at any given moment, you guys, we can do something that can contribute to someone's dreams coming true, and we can work together to make that happen. So this is, again, Potting Pete. Potting Pete, welcome.
Thank you. Obviously, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very, very much. So I want you to share with all of our viewers. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, tell us a little bit about your background, who you are, where you come from, and how that's contributed to where you are now.
Sure.
And go ahead.
Well, let's see. Just a regular guy, just like anybody else. I'm a dad. I go to work 9 to 5, normal corporate type job, and where we go to work every day. But a few years ago, I had an empty feeling in my heart, and I knew that there was more out there in the world. So I wanted to see what options I had available to me that were that I could experience that would give me more direction, help me answer the big questions in my life, things that normally we turn to faith and we turn to our spiritual leaders, maybe even our parents and stuff like that. But I've done that. Okay. What else was out there? And that's where I guess it all started from. It's like, there's something else out there. I want to know more.
Okay. All right. So you want to know more, and I'm assuming this is how you led into tarot.
It did. In that search for, looking for, what could I bring into my life that's going to enhance it and give me more confidence in going forward in my life. I looked at different things, different faiths, different divination systems, magic, everything.
Gotcha.
And what first called to me was this idea of using an old school system of playing cards to fortune tell. I mean,
Gotcha.
that's how most people think of tarot is it's a fortune telling tool.
And before you continue, by the way, guys, tarot. The idea behind this is tarot. He has a passion for tarot. We're going to get more into that later. But I want you all to know that I brought him on because he has a passion for tarot. This is something new to me. This is a part of his dream, and this is something that us together, including you all, we can all dive into through his passion and through his dream, and hopefully make that dream happen one day.
Absolutely.
But anyway, this is a divination, something that you were seeking.
Right.
Continue.
So as I got to, as it was presented to me, there's quite a bit of information on the internet and in books and things. So I started researching it. And I said, okay, well, how would tarot give me that tool to help me answer those questions in my life? And as I learned more about it and as I experienced, it's less about the fortune-telling aspect of it. It's more a tool of connecting with your intuition. And using the cards, you can honestly take any deck of playing cards and really use it as a tool to access your intuition, where it's an image on a card or a meaning behind a card brings out something inside of you. It clicks. It's not just a stock answer that comes up. It's something that comes out of your heart, out of your mind, out of the universe, and it connects all together as a meaning individualized for you at that moment. And
So powerful, man.
That's so cool.
Okay. So now, with that being said, obviously that's the foundation of everything. What is your goal? I mean, what is your vision? I'm assuming we're all learning. We all have that goal that we're aspiring to, and you're setting the bar for yourself. What is that bar? Where do you envision, and what is your goal for yourself and your passion with tarot?
Tarot, because it is an esoteric idea. You know, for some people, it is so outside of the mainstream that it is taboo. It's forbidden. Um, what I would like to see is, or what I like to be a part of, is bringing tarot to everybody in a mainstream, accessible way. Just a normal guy, regular guy that, you know, just like most people out there, go, you know, 9 to 5, dad, wife, husband. That kind of person can be somebody who can be a tarot reader, and using the tools of the tarot, help themselves, help their family, help their friends, help strangers. Because once you learn tarot, you start feeling like, I can give this to other people as well. This help that has come to me is easily shared with others.
On that point, that to all of you is the reason why. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. You come to find this thing that is constructive in your life, that benefits your life.
Right.
And just like you said about finding it and sharing it with other people, like family.
Like we've discussed, this is a gift given to me. My passion, my desire, my want to need to know tarot is given to me by God. I have to believe so, because when I incorporated that into my life, it became a two-way street. It started off as me taking the information and learning it, and as I learned it, it's like, no, this has to go back out into the universe.
You got to pay it forward, and I totally agree with the idea of paying it forward. Like, and we talk about our character, we talk about the faith, and we talk about integrity all the time. And that was something that I developed, just like how you developed this passion and you saw it in your life.
Yeah.
And I realized the same thing. I have to give it out.
Yes.
Because wouldn't you agree, Pete, that it loses its value if you learn all of the tools and the world of tarot, and then you don't pay it forward?
Right. And there's no way for my goal of making the tarot or helping tarot become more mainstream if it's only inside.
It's only inside.
I gotta tell you, I gotta tell everybody else.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna ask some more questions and dive deeper into that.
Fire away.
What are some things, because most of the people that are going to be watching this, I would assume that they don't have a vision of tarot. So what are some things that you learned in your journey, that fundamental things that you can share with the other people?
Let's see. The idea behind tarot is, like I said, less about the fortune telling. Most people think of a classic tarot reader, Esmeralda in the crushed velvet with the crystal ball in front of her, and Miss Cleo doing, you know, the magic, saying, "Send me money and I'll tell you your future." You know, I got you. There's scams and everything. But in what I've learned about tarot is that it's not just playing cards. It is, but it's a tool for connecting your intuition with the path that you should be on, or that you want to be on. That, as I believe, the universe wants you to be on. The tarot is like, what obstacles are going to come up in my life?
Okay.
What is the best path forward? What can I expect when I take this path? Laying out a couple of different options. If I go this way or if I go this way, I can lay out some cards, and then using my intuition, take the story in the cards, the pictures that are coming up. Okay, so if I was to take this particular path, it's likely that this is going to come up. Not predicting the future per se, but like, what do I need to prepare for?
Gotcha.
And how can I make this path most successful for me? Because we all want to be successful. The universe wants us to be successful because we can share it back with everybody else.
Because you can share it back with anybody else. So I don't want to wait until the end for them, because I already know that whoever's watching this is already there. They have questions already, and they're already interested and engaged. So before we continue, I want you to tell the viewers and people who are watching where they can find you. This is going to be posted on social media, of course, you know. So where can they find you on Instagram?
Well, let me apologize. When it comes to social media, I'm old school and I'm still learning. But I do have an Instagram account. It is Inverted Tower. And then I'm also working on developing some Facebook pages as well, so that people that can find me can reach out to me and say, hey, I'd like a tarot reading on this.
Gotcha.
And what I do is I offer free tarot readings for the first time. So anybody that reaches out to me on myinvertedtower@gmail, just shoot me a question by email or reach out to me on Instagram, and I'll be happy to talk a little bit more about it, give you some ideas of what tarot can do for you, and then give you a free reading, and then give you an idea of what it does for you.
Okay, so you all heard myinvertedtower@gmail, and on Instagram it's inverted tower, correct?
Inverted Tower.
So on Instagram it's inverted tower. Now I do know that inverted tower. So inverted tower is a card. So why inverted tower? Out of all the cards in the deck, how many cards are in the deck? By the way,
a traditional tarot deck is comprised of your 52 cards on a playing deck. You have an ace through king in each of the suits. The suits are a little different, and they can vary from tarot deck to tarot deck. But aces, hearts, diamonds, clubs, and what's the other
spades.
One? Spades. Thank you. Are now cups and wands and swords and pentacles. But then in addition to that, we have 22 other cards called the Major Arcana. And the Major Arcana is the Fool's Journey. So if you think about what tarot is, it's identifying a point in your path where you started off as the fool, not knowing anything, being excited and just
like me now,
jumping out into the world, and as you go through each individual lesson, which is represented in the cards, you eventually come to the card 22, which is the world. It's not the end of the path for you, but you have completed that little segment of your life. You've come around the world like Magellan again.
Gotcha.
And you've learned so much. You're a new person, like a hero's journey. You've come back to the village with, vanquished the monster, and you've brought peace back to the village.
So in a way, you're closing that chapter. You're finishing off that chapter.
Well said.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Got you. So, inverted tower. Out of all of the cards that you described, tell me, because I really want to truly know, why did you choose inverted tower of them all?
Tarot cards are usually read upright or inverted, and they have different meanings depending on if when you pull them upright. So like this one is the Ten of Pentacles.
Okay.
If I was to pull it upright, it has to do with families, a completion of the family. Oh no, I'm sorry. This one is. I lost where I was going to go with that. What I'm trying to say is that in the upright, it has one particular meaning, like per se, the completion of the journey.
Gotcha.
Okay, the family unit is whole at this particular point, and things are going great. If it's inverted, it doesn't necessarily mean the exact opposite. Okay. Things are not bad in the family. Things are not. It's not that it's whole. It may be that there's something that you need to work on in your heart, in your soul, or in your inside to achieve that.
Gotcha.
There's an obstacle holding you up to that. And moreover, though, as you're asking me questions, as I pull that card up, I'm not going off the book definition of it. I'm going to use my heart. I'm going to use my intuition. I'm going to use what I know from you and the conversation that I had, and I'm going to pull out the meaning that is most appropriate for the circumstance at hand.
Most appropriate for the circumstance at hand.
Yeah.
And I want you all to know that I've done multiple card readings with Pete here, and you're absolutely right. We conversate before. I mean, Pete, you would ask me like, okay, so what's going on? What are we going to be searching about? What is the reason behind it? How do you feel behind it? And for me personally, I'm praying because I want the Lord to communicate through me through the cards, because like you said, it's all about your personal intuition.
Yes.
As much as you're going based off of your intuition through the card, I'm going based off of my intuition from the meaning that I get from the card and the explanation that it gives me. So there's a lot of personal that when we talk about it, there's a lot of personal definitions that we come about and the meanings that we take behind them. So what's the tower?
Yes.
And inverted, what does it mean?
Okay, so the tower is part of that major arcana. It is right in the middle of your journey. And if you think about how many times have we been in the middle of our journey and everything has just collapsed on us. It's just crumbled. literally the Tower of Babel, right? We built and the idea of the tower is that we built this tower up. But something has happened. In the card itself, there's usually a flash of lightning, and it's crumbling the tower. It's the moment when, in our lives, we're struck down to our foundations. We're shaken to the core, and we have to start over again. The inverted is, now going back to that idea, we have to work inside.
It's getting
We have to
powerful,
work
man.
inside, and we have to identify the obstacles. What are we clinging to that's not allowing us to shake ourselves down to that foundation? How can we start over again once the tower is crumbled? And I've had a couple of tower moments in my life,
Of course.
where I'm like, this is horrible. I don't know how I'm going to go forward. But the tower is never struck down beyond its foundation. You always have a place to start from. That's where I want to be in the inverted tower. I want to help people from that point look up and build their tower up again.
And on that point, I don't believe in chance. I mean, people that are close to me know that I don't believe in chance. But when you say from that point where the tower's broken down, I want people to look up and I want to share the idea that they can build it back up. I don't believe in chance. There's a reason why I truly have you here as my first interview podcast deal, like, because that's the exact same message that I have. Now, I love how you explain my mission's goal through your passion and your dream of the inverted tower. But again, I mean, that's exactly what I'm about, is people building up their own towers.
Right.
So on the inverted tower, anything else that you'd like to speak of in terms of the concepts that are found in the cards? I know we only talked about one. What is another thing that you can share in terms of the concept, maybe through inverted tower, or just something that they can learn more about?
I mean, you're talking about the idea of using tarot in a person's individual life?
Yeah, or just the concept. Like, I mean, you brought up a great concept in terms of the inverted tower. What's another way that we can look deeper?
Well, actually, let me take on this. A lot of people have this idea that certain cards in the deck have negative meanings. The Death card,
Okay.
the Three of Swords is all. I mean, it's in many decks, it is a heart with three swords piercing it. It is a card of betrayal.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily need to be a negative thing. Like the tower is almost always considered a negative thing because nobody likes to have that moment in their life where everything is crumbling around them. It feels horrible. But it's necessary for growth. And each one of those negative cards can be seen in a positive light. If the betrayal card comes up in a reading and happens to be a relationship, a love reading, and you feel like your partner has betrayed you, well, wouldn't it be better to have that moment out so we can address it? It may be a betrayal. It may be that you just feel like you've been betrayed. But without acting on it, then you're stuck in the same rut that you were before. And what I'd like to do with tarot is give you the confidence to act on your intuition.
There goes another point. Confidence to act on your intuition. And if we want to look at what we've covered so far, the confidence to act on your intuition. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be tarot. It doesn't even necessarily be what I'm about. Wouldn't you agree, Pete, that everybody is going through a point in their life where the confidence to act on their intuition will provide that growth that you spoke of, will provide that, I always use this word, fulfillment towards your purpose and your cause.
Because I really believe that the universe is giving you that reason. They're giving you that not only the idea, the impetus to do it, but it's going to give you the means to do it as well. And it may come through a tarot reading. It may come through a conversation with your buddy at work. It may come from a random chance encounter. But that, if you're open to it, and I think tarot helps us stay open to those messages from the world, whether you believe it's coming from God or if it just happens to be a random chaotic event, but there's a meaning behind it, and if the meaning is specifically for that individual.
Okay. Now, that is all good and powerful stuff. Now, I'm gonna be an advocate a little bit. So you're talking about being open to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's safe to say that with a lot of different things going on in this world around us, some people are not so open to the idea. So I'm going to ask you a question based off of that. So to those that are not necessarily open, because me, I'm by all means open to this. My spirituality is open. My art, I do my best to have my heart open and my mind open. But for the people who are not open, I'm going to ask you this question: how much of it, when you pull up a card, how much of it is biased to what you believe when you're reading, sitting down with someone? So
yeah,
I mean, how much of it is you control the situation, and how much of it is required for the other person to have to meet you halfway in terms of being open?
It isn't necessary for you to be open to my message or to the message of the tarot.
Really?
Unless you want to act on it. The message is going to come up. Okay? So I shuffle the cards. I call upon my spirits, my spirit guides to help me read those cards, and I call upon the universe to give me the right cards for the meaning, for the moment. So I pull the question, you get asked me the question, I pull the card, and I tell you, based on the card that comes up, what I feel, because it does take some bias, because I'm taking what I know of you, the question at hand, and I try to not objectify, but I try to remain objective of my own personal influences in my life. I may be having a horrible day, right? The kids just yelled at me. I had, got into a car accident, right? Something like that. That has to be outside of my interaction with you, but I deal a lot with the energy that's coming from you. But going back to what you were saying, if you come in as a skeptic and you're like, tell me if I'm going to win the lottery. Now, that really isn't a great tarot question because, in my opinion, the future is not set in stone. Our actions today impact what's going to happen tomorrow. Absolutely. So you could say, am I going to win the lottery? And I pull up a card that implies a yes, but you never play the lotto, or you never play the lottery, you're not going to win.
I got you.
So you don't have to be open to the message. You don't have to act on it. I'm going to give you what I think is the message at hand, that message that you need, and then it's up to you to act on it.
Gotcha. Man, that's so powerful, man.
Right.
That's so powerful.
So I do need you to meet me halfway, especially if you were going to hire me as a tarot reader. I would assume that if you're going to pay good money, that you're looking for the meaning behind it.
Oh, of course, and I think that mutualism it's all across the board necessary with anything. I mean, like the whole saying that the teacher only appears when the student is ready. I mean, I feel that hits exactly the point that you're saying.
Yes.
Right? Even this today, like I have to be open to allowing you to share your dream in order for me to be open to go and chase mine. I mean, there has to be that mutualism, right? What is something that most people get confused with? Following a second question, as far as being the advocate, right, being the naysayer, so to speak. What is another confusion that most people get with
that
tarot?
Tarot is the devil's work. Couple of people, when I first brought up the subject, my coworkers are like, "Yeah, don't bring that around me. I don't want to know my future. I don't want you to pull up, demons into my life." And while I'm a very spiritual person, I am also understanding that other people have different comfort levels with the esoteric. My idea is that tarot is a mainstream tool for everybody to use, and I want to be able to present that in a way that's comfortable to everybody. If you believe that tarot is specifically and only from an evil entity, it's I'm not if it's something that's devil inspired, I'm not going to bring it to you. Gotcha. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. Gotcha. But if you're open to the idea about it, I'm going to explain that really it's a deck of cards. It's got some really pretty pictures on it.
Yeah.
It's the intention behind it. You can take anything and use it for evil.
Of course.
But you can take most things and use them for good too.
You can use them for good too. And on that note, I'm taking this and using it for good, and I hope all you viewers take this and use it for good, because I mean, you know this, man. Off camera, we were already talking before we started filming. Is there's a reason why I have you in my life,
Yes.
and the conversations that we've had leading up to this point. We've known each other for going on half a year now, and in that time we've grown so much together.
Yes.
But I'm gonna take this for good. I hope you all take this for good. And before we close, if there was, just as a human being, you could incorporate tarot in this question or not. If someone was gonna have 60 seconds with you, right, and they just said, hey, you know, Pete, man, I loved Saturday with SWAGASSI and the episode with you on there, and I know you don't have much time. What could you share with me? What would you share with anybody out there in terms of what you've come to know, things about what we talked about today? What would you share if someone had 60 seconds with you?
Number one, don't give up on your goals. There's going to come a time where we all get that point where I want to do this, but I don't have the energy. I don't have the gumption to carry on and to make this dream a reality. What I would say is, don't force yourself. Don't push yourself so hard right now, because the time will come. For me in the inverted tower, it's taking years to get to this point, and I'm still barely off the ground. But what I love about this is that I have a chance to talk about it every day. I brought my passion into my life in a way that I can incorporate it every day. I meet new people, and I have an ability to help them in many cases, which is just, it's a brilliant thing. It touches me on an emotional level that I don't get anywhere else. And for that, I think I would like to say to everybody, do not give up on that goal. Let it touch you every day, and it doesn't have to be 100%. And it can be just a little bit, but every day a little bit more, and pretty soon you'll be on Saturdays with SWAGASSI talking about you as well.
Well, thank you, man. I mean, you know, in terms of, like you said, with helping people, you have helped me so much on my journey leading up to this point. And man, the honor and pleasure is totally mine. And so I just want to say thank you so much,
My
Pieter.
pleasure.
Thank you very, very much. And before I let you all go, I do know that you all do know that I kind of share with you what I'm wearing for today. So if you guys notice this amazing military jacket, his last name is Smith, and if you look closely, it says Smith. This jacket was given to me by Pete, and when he gave this jacket to me, he says, yeah, I just want to give you a jacket, and I noticed you have a lot of jackets when you come into work. He gave me this jacket, and he also gave me a pair of authentic, like, military combat boots to go with it, and it blew my mind. So obviously we don't wear shoes in the house, but when I do step out, I'm going to be wearing those military combat boots to go with the jacket. But yeah, this is what I'm wearing. This shirt that I'm wearing, we actually spoke about Ritz and Chris earlier today. This is a shirt given to me by one of my close friends who's in Russia right now, Chris Ritz Dugan. This was his first assistant coaching job. He's a head coach now. But anyway, yeah, I'm wearing my favorite belt, 501 Levi's to go with the 50s looking hair. And by the way, I gave him a haircut before we started. So if you need a haircut, look how fly this guy's looking. But anyway,
He's a miracle worker.
I try to be, man. You are the miracle worker in my life. But anyway, thank you again, Pete.
Always.
And to all the viewers, if you want to know, get to know more about tarot or just his service or him as a person, go to Inverted Tower on his Instagram. But anyway, again, thank you all for another episode of Saturday with SWAGASSI. And remember, everybody, we can always share our dreams by helping others. And remember, life is good, God is great.